station of unlimited possibilities, presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of Joshua Shipman. A little bit about him. Known for the role of Philly Vendor in recently released film Harriet, born in the small town of Hallsboro, North Carolina, Joshua developed a passion for the craft during early childhood, imagining himself staring in films right in his backyard. After not only participating but winning awards in high school and university theater productions, earning a minor in theater and majoring in broadcasting, Joshua honed his skills and continued on to bigger and better film opportunities in Wilmington, North Carolina. While doing background for multiple TV shows and movies, he absorbed all that he could as well as networking. Now signed with Evolution Talent Agency since 2015, Joshua has booked many projects from commercials such as RITZ, VA Lottery, Lowe, and Home Depot, to name a few, to major feature films and TV shows such as Harriet and The Good Lord Bird so far. When not on set, Joshua enjoys studying the craft by reading books, watching acting forums, and acting in independent films. Who knew that all the hard work he put into his craft would lead him to living his dream? A near impossible dream to many was just a little ambition away for the Hallsboro, North Carolina native. He continues to work hard and give 100% to becoming a global name in the industry. Be on the lookout for his name in theaters and TV and on TV very soon. Welcome to the table, Joshua Shipman.
Thank you so much for having me, Ashley. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So please tell listeners more about your acting journey.
So, again, I started out in, well, of course, let's take it back to childhood. Again, I was just this, I would call myself the entertainer of the family because I don't know, since childhood I've always had this very vivid imagination. And, I thought it was, a normal kid, normal imagination that we all have when we're little. But it was, me learning that I actually had a gift. And with me learning and finding out what this gift was, it's something that it just kind of stuck with me. It stuck with me through childhood. I would always tell my older siblings, I'm gonna be on TV. I'm gonna be in movies. And for some reason, it was a thought and a feeling that never left me. So fast forwarding a little bit, of course, I did grade school theater plays. And it really stuck to me when I got to the high school level, and my first play, which is Once Upon a Mattress, and it's the fairy tale about the princess and the pea. And in that play, I played a wizard, and I also played a huge bird, in which I turned into the bird at some point. And I ended up, it was my first big school production. And I ended up winning I won an award. I won the Best Cameo Award for playing the bird because that was pretty much one of the best parts of the show. And, every show, it just had a crowd going crazy every time that part happened or whatever, every time I performed that bird or the character. So after that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is solidified. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And I just knew no matter where I went, no matter what happened in my life, I just knew that I wanted to be on TV, or I just knew that I wanted a career in the arts, in the performing arts. And after high school, I went on to Southeastern Community College, but they didn't really have too much theater there. So I did a little bit of skits here and there, student-produced skits. So after that, I ended up going to UNC Pembroke, in which I continued my passion for theater. And under Holden Hanson, which was my theater professor at the moment, I gained the passion all over again. It's almost like it was brand new to me. but it's something that I knew that I really had inside of me that I just couldn't shake. So I did my first play for the crew for UNCP was The Crucible, and I played John Proctor, which was one of the most challenging plays that I've done theater-wise to this day. And I learned so much more from that. I learned so much more from Holden Hanson, and, you know, by him teaching me and actually believing in me as well. So that helped me out a great deal. So while getting my major in mass communication, we were pretty much required to learn short film. And we did student-produced short films in which I was pretty much a star in a couple of them, my classmates and I, as well as my project itself. So, again, it was just reigniting that fire, reigniting just fuel to the fire. And when I left UNC Pembroke, I went straight into it. I ventured out to Wilmington. I was working background on several movie sets, several TV shows, and I was just like, hey, I have to be able to get into this full time, and which was, of course, that was my goal. So, you know, after years and years and years of hard work, dedication, and just motivating myself to keep, you know, to continue on, and here I am.
I love that. Very inspiring journey, you know, for our listeners that are listening. I'm sure they have enjoyed listening to this journey, which is amazing, which brings us to your new role, your known role, recent role of Philly Vendor in the recent film Harriet. So please tell us more about your role in this amazing movie.
Well, Philly Vendor, I am pretty much the guy who Harriet, her first contact, as a matter of fact, her first contact when she crosses the Philadelphia border. And when I received the audition, I actually booked this role, which was completely opposite of my audition. I think this role came from the callback audition that I had for this film. Originally, I had a one-liner which was for my audition, and it was almost, I was like so close of passing this up because I'm like, okay, this is a major feature film. And you know, sometimes as actors, we tend to doubt ourselves. And I mean, I can tell you all actors have doubted themselves once in a while. So, and then on top of that, I was tired. I think I had just submitted at least 7 auditions prior to this for commercials and films and TV projects. So I'm like, you know, not hearing anything back from those. And I try not to allow myself to get discouraged because I'm like, okay, I understand this game. And I know that it's definitely not going to happen overnight. It's going to be 1,000 no's before you get that one yes. Mm-hmm. And so I was very, very, I was tired. On top of that, I took a trip to Atlanta with some friends of mine. And it was just kind of like for me to calm down, you know, for me to come down off that, you know, submitting 7 or more auditions and not really hearing anything back from those. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to relax. But then I got a reminder while I was in Atlanta, and I was like, okay, oh, man, I have this audition that I have to turn in before this certain date. So I was like, well, you know what? I just got off the road, 5 hours. My friend's family had amazing food waiting for us when we arrived. So after it was all said and done, I kind of rested up a little bit, and I asked my friend, I was like, hey, you know, you want to help me with this audition? So we pretty much found a nice spot in the house, some nice home lighting, and we shot it. We shot the audition. I submitted it, and I'd say probably about 2 weeks after that, it was right before Hurricane Florence, or I think it was a couple of days after Hurricane Florence. I'm sitting in my sister's house, and I hear my phone goes off, and it's an email. I look at it, and it says, callback audition for Harriet. I was like, wait a minute, Harriet? I was like, wait a minute. Because I think the initial callback didn't really have the title of the film yet, because sometimes casting directors like to keep all the, you know, so many of the details kind of hidden. So I ended up opening the email, and it said, "Hey, you have a callback." So I'm blown away. I mean, we're in the middle of a hurricane that pretty much ruined North and South Carolina on so many levels. Mm-hmm. But here I am with this news in my hand, and I'm like, wow, like this is, I don't even know how to feel. So I think they actually had to end up pushing the callback a little later down the line because there was no, like, we were pretty much trapped in North Carolina. Like 95 was messed up, 40 was messed up. So those roads were kind of flooded around the time. So somehow they pushed it back, and I was able to get there. I got to the callback, and I read for, this was I thought it was going to be a simple, read my line and then, hey, I'm good to go. But I knew something was special about this audition because this was the first time I've ever been called into an audition, and I read for more than one part. I read for about 5 different characters that fit my profile. So after that, I left. I felt good. The casting director felt good. It was a good feeling. So after that, I'd say it was probably another 2 weeks or so, I started getting emails about being in high consideration. I was in high consideration for this role. I was in high consideration for that role. And it all just started narrowing down. And then, boom, there you go. I was in very high consideration for the Philadelphia vendor, in which I booked it. Blown away.
Amazing. I mean, I love your story of the process because a lot of people, they don't, the process is part of the journey, right? And like you said, all the no's that you got to get this, the yes that you finally got. So could you talk to our listeners more about how rejection is part of the process and to keep going no matter how many no's you get?
I would always hear a lot of my actors and my actor friends, I would always hear a lot about, people, they get really hard, they get really down on themselves because, they put in all this work and, they went to all these classes and they've done all this stuff. They've purchased headshots and they've done this and they've done that. And I guess, with me really having that background in theater, it kind of helped me a little. And then again, there were those times where, like I said, I would do about 7 auditions in a week. And I would be exhausted, like mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, because I'm like, okay, now I'm some of these I'm getting professional work done, and some of them I'm just kind of setting up at the house. And I didn't understand. I was like, well, I don't understand how can I literally send in 7 auditions and not hear a single thing? And I would have that thought, and I kid you not, I would be that person. I would have a thought, and sometimes I would be angry. Sometimes I would be kind of upset because I'm like, I know I'm doing things how I should do them. But again, what we have to understand as actors is we're one out of thousands or hundreds who are auditioning for this one role. And we're not casting directors, so we don't really know how the process works. I mean, sometimes even they surprise themselves with how the process ends up at the end of the day. So with that being said, it's kind of like I learned to just do my best in the audition, throw it out of my mind. Set up the audition, throw it out of my mind. And that's my process now. It's just like I don't even think about it. Even if it is for one of the biggest projects that I would love to book, I'm kind of like, well, you know what? What's for me is for me. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you still have to continue to keep up that energy. You still have to continue to keep up that drive that, that brought that audition to the table, because there's going to be many more. There's going to be many more. And, of course, even A-listers will tell you, you will not book every single thing. You will not book every single thing that you get in front of you. Sometimes you could be the perfect person for the part, but hey, let's just say somebody has 1 inch on you that you don't have in height. Let's just say somebody's a few more pounds on you that you don't have. If they really want you, they'll find some way to help you alter yourself. But, I mean, if they come across somebody who's a better fit, that's just what it is, you know. There's no hard feelings towards you, but you got to just keep going. You got to keep going, and you got to keep pushing, and you got to keep doing what works and what's been working, what's been getting you booked. Just keep, you know, keep a positive mindset. You got to keep a positive mindset, and you got to tell yourself, you know, this is your passion. You know, you're not going to always get a yes. You're going to hear many, many, many more no's. Even after you book that huge role, you're still going to hear a lot of no's because, again, that doesn't guarantee you work all the time. And it's also about your hustle. You got to have hustle. Like, you can't wait for it to come to you. So that's what I would tell all of the actors out there or aspiring actors. Like, you have to want it bad. You have to want it like you want success, like you want to breathe. So with that being said, it's not always easy. It's not going to be easy, especially something worth having. It's definitely not going to be easy. And this industry is very unpredictable. So you just got to keep doing you and keep hustling and keep putting yourself out there and on a positive note.
I love that. Keep going, stay focused, and do you. So, Joshua, please tell listeners, because I know you talk about in your bio about, you know, how you study your craft, right? So, will you please tell listeners why studying your craft, why is that so crucial to your success as an actor?
Oh, wow. Acting is almost like technology. Technology is ever growing. Technology is never going to stop evolving. So, and we as human beings, we are always evolving as well. We never stop growing. Even at the age, I've had older individuals at the age of 69 and 70. They're still learning. They're still evolving as people. So why would you not put in the work? And it's just like, you know, you have a 9-to-5 job. You want to get to that manager level. You want to get to that co-owner level. You want to get to that level where, you know, you're well respected. So of course, it's just like any other job. You have to put in the work in order to advance. And you have to stop telling yourself that just because you do this is going to happen. Or because I did that, this is going to happen. You have to just keep putting in the work. If you want to be a great, I tell myself this all the time, Joshua, you got to get in more classes. You need to, you know, continue working on films in between time when you're trying to book the big stuff. Keep sharpening yourself somehow, because again, you're going to always be the industry is always growing. The industry is always looking for that person who is always training, always, you know, they're always working on something, because whether you're in classes or whether you're just continuously working all the time, you're learning. So either one is, you know, you're being taught your craft and you're learning more. And by working on different sets, you're meeting different kind of directions from different directors. You're meeting different perspectives. So you're picking up a lot of these things by working on different sets and by working with different people and continuing to network. So, you know, and it's just like, you know, you're in classroom. You got to keep sharpening that pencil and able to finish your work. So without sharpening that pencil, you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there with the eraser in your hand. And sooner or later, if you're not sharpening that pencil, you're going to probably start erasing things that you want to actually write, but in your mind, it's kind of like you're becoming lethargic. So you're going to start erasing all of those possibilities.
I love that. And thanks for sharing that, because studying your craft is so important. I know in acting, but just in anything, right? That we study it and we study what we're trying to do and be successful at, because it's not going to all, you know, fall in your lap. You got to put the work in. So thank you for shining light on doing the work.
Oh, yes, most definitely. That's the hardest part, and that's the part a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people just feel like they can shortcut it. But I can tell you this right now, you can't. I mean, I've been acting for over 10 years, and there is no shortcut. You have to put in the work. It doesn't matter who you know. Sometimes it does, but listen, I can tell you right now, you can know, I can know Denzel Washington, but I guarantee you he's going to tell me that I have to put in the work. It's not, at the end of the day, I have to show people why I should be hired for a main character or I should, I'm going to have to prove myself why I should be in a major feature film. So you're going to have to show, and it's more than just an audition, because you have to think about it. These casting directors, they may be looking at you when you don't even realize it. So if your name is passed down the table, they're going to do some research on you. They're going to do some kind of research before they even invite you to audition for them. So that's another thing that a lot of actors really have to keep in mind, like your presence, your social media presence, your IMDb presence. Like, you have to literally keep those things in mind, because, again, when the big wigs are passing your name down the table and they're like, well, why do we feel like this guy's going to be good for this role? So, again, it's all about keeping yourself up and keeping yourself active in what you want to do.
I love that. So thanks for sharing that insight, because I know it's a lot of the listeners on here that might be aspiring actors or want to know the ins and outs of it. And I hope you're writing these nuggets down that Joshua is giving us for free for our listeners.
Definitely. Definitely. No problem at all.
So networking is so important too, and especially in the acting industry. So let's touch on that, Joshua. Why is networking so important?
I can put it to you like this. If it wasn't for me networking and actually stepping out of my, I'm an ambivert. I can be very social, but at the same time, I'm very introverted at heart. So I had to really break that, because at one point in time, I didn't really know how to be around people that I did not know for a long time. And it was kind of weird, because I'm like, listen, okay, I'm an actor. Now, I know for a fact that I have to get out here. I have to go meet with people that I've never even hung out with a day in my life. But I have to get out here, and I have to get over that and maintain and grow these relationships with these people who are independent film directors who are doing big things in the community as far as film. And I've met some amazing people. They know who they are. I've met some really great people all over, who just by stepping out of my comfort zone and going to events, and just by people have reached out to me on online, on Facebook, on Instagram. There were times where I drove over 4 hours to work on a project simply because I wanted to make that connection. Simply because, and most people probably look at me crazy, like, well, Joshua, you're not getting paid for this, or you're not doing this. That's another thing to keep in mind. Sometimes, especially when you're first starting out in this industry, now, of course, be mindful of what you're doing, but sometimes that connection that you feel like you should be paid for could be that connection that's going to end up putting you in a better place a little bit later on down the line. It's not always about what can happen now. Sometimes that connection, because I can tell you right now, I've made connections that are still paying me to this day. So, and at first I didn't get, and by making this connection, I didn't get paid. But I can tell you, just by making that connection and a little bit down the line, this director or this casting agent, they came across this project and which fit me. So they were like, hey, boom, I know a good guy for this. He's reliable. He's serious about the craft. And again, like I said, it's still paying me to this day from years ago. So networking, getting out, getting to know people genuinely, though. Genuinely.
Yes,
real people,
I'm glad you said that.
Real people, they can sense that. Real people in this industry can sense when you're trying to get around them for some kind of, how can I put this? For some kind of benefit other than really building together, versus they can sense that, So, do it in a natural sense. Don't be too hungry for it. Don't be too, as they say nowadays, don't be too thirsty for it, because people can pick that up. And the more they pick that up, the more they kind of back away from you.
So I'm so glad that you shine light on building genuine relationships, because what people don't understand, and you just said it, relationship currency is worth more than money. Relationship currency is what is is how you built that relationship, and now you're in the movie Harriet, right? That's relationship currency, and that's what we have to remember.
Yes, indeed.
You got to build those
indeed.
relationships.
Yes, indeed. You have to show people. There's a certain casting director, and it took me years to even. Because this is a big time casting director. Like, she's no joke, and it took me so many years of submitting my stuff to her, and I finally booked my first commercial with her, which was the RITZ commercial. I had finally booked it. And from that point on, now, this is after years and years and years of submitting my work and trying to get her to see that, I'm serious about what I do. So after the RITZ commercial came the Virginia Lottery commercial. After that came so many other projects that were big projects. And it was from this casting director because we built that rapport. We built that relationship. She knows that I'm reliable. She knows that I am about my craft 110%. She knows that when I show up, I'm going to show up on time, ahead of time. She knows that I'm going to have my stuff down. She knows that I'm not going to make her look bad. So that's building that relationship and building rapport. Like, you have to put in the work.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that you're shining light on that. Do the work, put in the work. That is so
That's
important.
it.
So
keep your name clean.
Right. Keep the name clean.
Definitely.
So, you have built multiple tables for yourself. And I ask all of my guests this question, Joshua. How did you create your seat at the table?
Well, just believing in myself. That's first. First thing, believing in myself when nobody else, when nobody else did. Believing in myself, allowing God to make a way for me instead of me forcing my way and building relationships with people that only God. I give all credit to God because a lot of my career is literally, I don't even know how I've gotten to the places where I have without faith and hard work. And just knowing that I deserve, telling myself I deserve this. Like, this is a gift that I know that's one of my gifts, one of my strongest gifts. And this is something it's my love, it's my passion. So I'm like, okay, why not grab hold of this passion and really go after it? And it doesn't matter what I have to do. Sometimes I'm traveling 24/7. Sometimes I'm up super early in the morning. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, traveling all the way 4 hours, 5 hours, working on set for 8 or more hours, sometimes less. And this is numerous days of doing stuff like this. So just having a mentality and just knowing that I want this for my life. I want this to be able to build a future for my son. I want this to be able to build a future for me. And that's pretty much it, just believing in myself and knowing that I deserve this.
I love that. Believing in yourself, encouraging yourself. And one key thing that you said when nobody else did, and that's what a lot of people got to remember. It doesn't matter what they say, right? You got to encourage yourself.
Exactly. You really, and sometimes you do want that gratification. Sometimes you do want people to clap for you, but I'm telling you right now, the people who you really want clapping for you are the big time casting directors, the directors who hire you, and they're clapping because you helped, make their film. You were a part of making their film a success. Those are the people who you want clapping for you. It doesn't matter your naysayers or sometimes even your friends and your family. Sometimes people are not going to understand all of your dreams. People are not going to understand why you want to do this. Why do you, so many people have doubted me, people who were close to me. They, so many people have told me, you need to just focus on what you went to school for. You need to just focus on, having stability, having a full-time job, a 40-hour, 50-hour week job. You need to really just focus on that because, that stuff is so fickle. Acting and all that kind of stuff, the entertainment industry is so fickle. And in actuality, it kind of is, but of course, if I would have believed those people and just kind of like left my dreams alone, we wouldn't be talking right now. I wouldn't be in one of the biggest films of the year right now. I wouldn't have performed in over 30 big commercials right now, you know? So with that being said, it's like, if I would have listened to everybody else who told me, you know, not to dream big because they didn't dream big, then I would literally just, you know, I'd be working a regular job right now. And there's nothing wrong with a regular job. Don't get me wrong at all. There's nothing wrong with a regular job, but I have a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that gift, and I think about that gift every single day. And I told myself from a younger age, I'm not going to let this gift go to waste. I can't.
Mm-hmm. So. I love that. Following your purpose, walking in your God-given gift, and that's so important. So everybody knows what their gift is. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So you talked throughout this interview about the process, and so what did failure teach you on your journey?
Failure taught me so many things, but the biggest thing is that you're never going to be just perfect at everything. And me, as I know a lot of actors can probably relate to this, we feel like we're the best. We have to feel that way. But if it wasn't for so many failed auditions or so many no's or so many productions that I probably turned down that probably could have changed my life, if it wasn't from learning from those instances, I wouldn't fight for it as hard as I do now. So if everything was pretty much given to me, or if everything just came so perfect to me, I would not work as hard as I do for it now. So failure is definitely going to teach you to not give up. Now, it's easy to be defeated. It's easy to throw in the towel and say, you know what, man, this ain't for me. I'm just going to go get a job like everybody else told me to. But at the end of the day, me not giving up has actually made me a more happier person than I don't know what, you know. I enjoy the feeling of working hard towards something that I know is going to be that's going to really produce more in my life. I'm not just thinking for the moment. So just failure is definitely going to teach you to go hard. Failure is going to teach you to go hard. Failure is going to teach you to sharpen yourself as an individual, as a person, as well as your craft. So again, you know, I may work on a production and then look back on it now and be like, what in the world was I thinking? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, if I wouldn't have worked on that production, then, you know, I wouldn't see areas that I need to improve in or areas that I'm trying to improve in now.
I love that you shared that because it just shows that it's a lesson, right? It's like, it's not failure, it's like it's part of the process. You have to go through
Exactly. You have to.
So what did success teach you, Josh? Because you're very successful.
Success taught me that it basically confirmed my gift. It basically confirmed me, you know, knowing that I had that gift in me and knowing that this is what I was meant to do with my life. And it may not be the only thing that I'm meant to do, but all of the success that I am reaping the benefits of right now is it basically told me, you know, since I was a little kid, I was already affirming things that I didn't even know what affirmations were then. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know the word affirmation. But I've been doing that all my life and not knowing it. So I've been speaking it into my future, and now all of the success that I'm having, thank God, it's a confirmation.
And it's so important because our words are powerful, right? So those affirmations, I'm glad you brought that up, right? You spoke those things into existence, and you didn't look at your current situation. So could you talk more about that? Because I think a lot of people, that's where they get stuck in. They look at their current situation.
Oh, yeah. So, like, so many people, like, I mean, I've been through this year, I have been through so many things. I mean, with the storm and, the storm messing up one of the homes I was in or staying in, one of the homes I was staying in, to relocating several times, trying to deal with a lot, excuse me, dealing with a lot with the storm and the aftermath of that, and just trying to do auditions, being a single father. So many things could have so many things could have stopped me from pursuing so many things could have made me give up. I can put it like that. So many things that I was going through this year alone could have made me just drop everything. So at this moment, when the Harriet movie came out, I was like, you know what? I don't know which way this is going to go, but I'm just praying for the best. And at first, I know the main cast, they went to the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. When Harriet first dropped, it was going to major film festivals around the world. And when it finally hit not North Carolina, but California, I had a guy reach out to me. He said he was about to attend it. So I didn't hear anything from him. I was like, oh my God, I'm biting my nails. I'm like, man, did I end up on a chopping block? Did my team end up on a chopping block? You know what I'm saying? I'm worried. I kid you not. Until I got this one call from a very close friend of mine. He's also a director. He called me one day, and he's like, hey man, he's like, where you at? I said, I was just coming back from Maryland, by the way, and he was in Atlanta. He said, look, man, I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm about to attend the Harriet screening. Excuse me, I'm kind of under the weather. Excuse me. So he told me he was about to attend the screening. So I was like, all right, cool. So I waited. I didn't hear anything back from him. I was like, oh my God. I was like, man, this was probably going to be one of the biggest moments of my life. I said, I prayed that I did not get put on the chopping block. So the next morning I get a text. He says, hey man, he was like, I appreciate what you did for Harriet. He was like, she really needed that apple. As soon as he said that, like 1,000 pounds just lifted off my shoulder. So I was like, oh my God, like this is happening. This is about to be one of the biggest moments of my year after everything that I've previously been through. So that alone showed me, stay the course. No matter what goes on in your life, you're meant for this. Do not ever give up. And I've had, I have so many people around me. They're confirming that as well. I'm like, hey man, no matter what goes on in your life, you are doing, this is just the beginning. And I'm so appreciative of people who really believe in me genuinely and who believed in me up to this point and beyond. Because again, that really helps me as an actor. Because, being in an industry that's so hard, that's so competitive, and you have to, sometimes you want that extra push. You want people, telling you, hey, I'm so proud of you, keep doing your thing. This is only the beginning. People who genuinely believe in you, and they're rooting for you. So at this current moment in my life, I feel great. Like I'm still in awe that this is actually happening. Like recently, my alma mater, they did a showing of Harriet and invited me out to a theater in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So that alone, all of the love and support that I got from my alma mater is mind-blowing. I did not expect any of that. The support that I've gotten from my community, the support that I've got from other communities, surrounding communities. So the love of, for me, and a lot of people, they know me. They know my mother, and they brag, my mother brags. I hear that my mother brags on me all the time. So people, all of the support that I'm getting, and people who have seen me put in the hard work, they've seen me stay up until wee hours of the morning. They see me get up at wee hours of the morning and travel and not come back until the next morning, basically. That moment, up until this moment in my life, I really, truly appreciate everything and everyone who has given their support.
I love it. You have, like I said, your story is so inspiring, and just not giving up and just going forward regardless. It's just so inspiring. So thank you for sharing that, Joshua, because your journey is amazing. So what can we expect from you the rest of 2019? We're in the fourth quarter. I know you have some amazing things going on. So what can we expect from you the rest of the year?
So the rest of the year, there's also another project that was supposed to come out called Shadows of History. It's supposed to be coming out. I think it's the ID channel. I have a role in that show. I forgot the name of the episode, but of course I'll keep everybody up to date on my social media. You'll see it all over my social media, and it's slated to drop the rest of I think it was slated to drop. I don't know if it's this year, the end of this year, or early next year, but I still have that project that I'm waiting on. I still have some commercial projects that I've worked on that are still coming out. I have, and I know we said the rest of this year, but next year, February, I have a show that's coming out on Showtime, and I think we mentioned that a little earlier, and that's called The Good Lord Bird with Ethan Hawke. I'm not sure if everyone knows who Ethan Hawke is, but he played alongside Denzel Washington in Training Day. Hoyt, the officer Hoyt. So that's Ethan Hawke. Amazing production that he actually, I want to say he produced it, or he really helped a big way in this project, and he's playing a very, very, very interesting character. I don't want to spoil it, so just be on the lookout for it. I'm pretty sure you'll start to see a lot of promotion for it real soon, because it is slated to drop in February. So just be on the lookout for that. Again, it's called The Good Lord Bird, and I play a pretty decent role. I don't want to say too much about it right now, so you'll see it on my social media, though. As soon as they allow us to start promoting it, trust me, I'm going to promote it heavy. And, again, that's going to be on Showtime. And so the rest of this year is closing out pretty fast for everybody and for us. So I'm still going hard. I got a couple of things coming up, a couple callbacks. So I'm keeping those under wraps for right now, but we're working. I'm working. That's what we do. As actors, we're working actors and just inspiring actors. That's what we do. We're on the grind 24/7. So that's what I do.
I love it. Congratulations on all the great things that you have going on. Listeners, make sure you tune in to The Good Lord Bird on Showtime, coming out in February. So definitely follow him. Follow Joshua to make sure that you all are tuning in and supporting him. He's doing some amazing things.
Please do.
Yes. So will you please tell our listeners, Joshua, how they can contact you and follow you on all social media platforms?
Okay. So Facebook is Joshua T. Shipman. That's Joshua T as in Tom. And my last name, Shipman, Shipman. Same thing on Instagram. Joshua T. Shipman, but it's going to be joshua.t.shipman. I don't really use my Twitter like that, but I also have a fan page on Facebook, and it's just Joshua. But you'll see all my pictures are very similar, so you'll see me. And, follow me. Follow me. If you want to shoot some support, some love, do that. If you have questions, shoot them. I'm there. I do respond to people. I can tell you right now, I really do respond to people. I'm not one of those actors who feel like, hey, I'm up here, I'm in the clouds, I don't have to respond to anybody. Trust me, we're all working. We're all trying to get to that. We're all chasing that dream, and we're all trying to get to a good point in our lives. So reach out.
Yes, he just stated he responds. So definitely reach out and connect with Joshua on all social media platforms. So Joshua, thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. For taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come to the table tonight. This has been a powerful interview, and I can't wait to invite you back.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joshua. So I would
All right,
like
you have a good night.
You too. I would like to
I'm
give
sorry.
a special, I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to Author Kimberly McLemore and my intern Sarah from Tennessee State University and my intern Vontaria from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.